exposure and for all the good that's going to come from that as a result. Many times we can't pay for the amount of exposure that you would have gotten. And so that's very, very important to recognize as well. Well, lo and behold, there's Samuel. He's must be parked somewhere in a airport or something. All right, so next we're going to have up William. It looks like he's having problems with this video, but hopefully, William, we can hear you, and he is going to share with us a little bit about what's going on with him in maybe 3 minutes, William, 3 or 4 minutes. I know that'll be quick for you because you've had a lot going on, but if you'll share with us and then to give us an update.
Yeah, for sure. I've been traveling for the past 2 months, meeting way too many people, but the update, we raised 250K for our seed round. And then we're raising 2.5 now. And that we should have that within the next 2 months.
So
Paperwork.
William, I want to interrupt you because we know you came in with your Christian cartoon initially.
Oh
What
yeah,
is
yeah,
this
yeah,
money being raised
yeah.
for?
Yeah, so all right, so when I came in, I had my Christian cartoon company, and I had to choose in between that and esports. Because originally that's my bread and butter, so is art. But esports just kind of like took off. I mean, it was crazy how it happened so quick. I planned like 5 more years, but that didn't happen. So now we have a I'm the chief strategy officer for an esports company called Most Vicious Players. And we did a joint venture with a company called Scholarly Me, who's a traditional sports recruitment app. And we made the Amateur Esports Union. And we get our official evaluation in about a month or so, but it's going to be 4.5 billion. We closed our deal with China through our partner Charlie Me. So they're putting 88 million esports collegiate athletes on our platform. And they're going to be a part of our membership. And we're working to bring in some conferences that'll be announced like pretty soon. It's just been a lot of work and a lot of traveling, and I'm happy to be home. So
Well, congratulations, William. That is absolutely amazing. And so we're so proud of you and all the hard work you've put in and the benefits that you're reaping right now. And the one thing I have for William, and I ask him every time he calls me and gives me an update or feedback is, do you have Herbert involved? Do you understand what's going on? Do you know what all these contracts you're signing and all of this? So he has assured me he's on top of it and he's receiving Herbert's guidance and with everything that's taking place. So, and William, he had something else.
Yeah, we got a lot of lawyers now. That's for sure. We got one team to manage everything in the U.S. and then we have 5 international lawyers. Well, international law firm to help us navigate the international waters in different countries. So we spent a lot of money on lawyers. That's where the most of our 250 went to, and establishing, making sure the company structure is established correctly. But that in the website, but that's where the majority of the money went. So yeah, it's a lot of lawyers.
Wow. Wow. And so, William, real quickly, what role, if any, did being in the cohort play in this? I know you were only in for a short time and things took off, but was there anything that assisted you in this process?
Yeah, for sure. Everything up front, right? So just being in the cohort the entire time, having the information about copyright law, going through all the steps is the same thing we did. We went through every single step. I had all the information. We just used the information that was there, and then we just kept at it. Interestingly enough, we're we're a moonshot. So we're doing something that has never been done in esports. And we're working to legitimize it. We're working with foreign governments, so nobody really knows the correct way. So we're figuring that out as we go along and having that basic structure. Well, not basic, but having that foundational structure of do's and don'ts is super critical because one wrong turn can turn our entire ship upside down. It almost happened 5 times in the past 2 months. So yeah, it's super critical to our success. Well, what we're seeing as success so far, we're not there yet, that's for sure.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again, and thanks for sharing that. And we'll look forward to your continued progress along the way. And so thanks for sharing that with us tonight. And so at this time, we have others that are joining us. Does anybody have any updates they would like to share? Real short, real short. We want to give you all time and to share with what's going on, your activity, and the progress that you are making. So anybody? You guys are good? All right. Okay, well, we're going to transition. We're going to transition over to next on our agenda. We want to hear an update from William. We heard an update from Drew as well in her journey. And now we're going to have actually an open discussion. I think we have a couple people. Samuel was on the call. Those that were on the call for the pitch deck, we want to actually open up just an open discussion for the do's and don'ts of giving a pitch, some of the observations that were made during Precious' presentation, your feedback of that, and how you think you might implement some of the things that and the tips that she shared with us. And so we're going to start with probably comments from Liz. Let me have you do some comments in reference to Precious, her pitch, and feedback on that. And then we're going to open it up to hear you guys give us some of your takeaways from it. Some of the do's and don'ts of pitching.
Okay, thank you. Hi, good evening, everyone. Happy to see you all. So I was excited about Precious and her pitch and the process that she goes through, and found her to be very engaging and entertaining, which is something you do want to be, because you have such a short period of time to capture everyone's attention and to be able to do that. Now she has a unique pitch. And so when we look at it, and based on my experience that we're looking at, it does make a difference when you're developing your pitches that you know who your audience members are. So we're just going to just make an assumption that she knew she was pitching to us, but she said she pitched to, that pitch was for what she's developed her own persona. So my observations that I shared with others is, there are, you never know who you're going to be pitching in front of, and what you're pitching for makes a difference in how you present self when you're presenting. So Precious has a unique style and way that she presented. And my first observation was she was very, very comfortable, very relaxed, almost like, my girlfriend kind of person with pitching. And that may work for her, but it doesn't necessarily work a lot in a lot of groups and settings that I've been in. And Drew, I'm sure you were there when you're looking at other people pitching, you didn't see anyone pitch like that. So it is, people don't take it very seriously when you're trying to pitch for the money. And I'm not saying she wasn't serious, but the observation that I made was she's already had some traction developed and had a level of success. So that gave her a different level of comfort in how she would pitch. And it wouldn't necessarily can be so relaxed when you're pitching. You can still show your personality, but she has behind her traction as well as she has a law degree. So my perception is that before she got to that place of pitching like that, she very well used that background and was presenting in a different way. And I again, this is just my observation, you know, when you're trying to stand out among people, that's basically what she was doing. So she's put on a persona that allows her to stand out and you see her, but it may not necessarily work well in a lot of different audiences. And that's just my, you know, my observation, not critiquing, criticizing, or doing that, but just from having worked in the financial services industry, work with a lot of venture capitalists. They are looking at it. Can you speak to the numbers? And so what's her strength is that she's able to, she knows her product well, and she knows all of that, and people can get beyond that, but we don't all have that luxury. So we're still trying to establish ourselves for most of us. So that's my 3 cents. I'll give you 5 cents, but I want to run out. I don't want to give up time. Hi, Drew. Yes.
You're good. Yeah. You're muted, Drew. You're muted.
Unmute. Sorry, I thought it said to mute. I would kind of tend to agree. I think her confidence was the most inspiring thing that I lack in my presenting. Not that I'm not confident in my product, but I don't always present as confident as she does. But I think also the type of product that she was presenting led to the style of pitching that she does that would not go over with my product, with babies and new moms, and just the style of presentation of being, yes, I need to be laid back and conversational with these moms, but I also need to be professional too, because it comes from a very medical and professional background. And I felt like it wouldn't, a lot of what she said wouldn't necessarily go over very well with my audience. And luckily, I kind of know a little bit of that, but the confidence factor that she had was a wow factor for me. To be able to get up there and just let yourself loose and be that confident in what you're doing. I need a little bit of that mojo.
I agree.
And, you know, and I will just say, if I may, I have participated in a lot of competitions. I force my students to do them. A lot of them are introverts and they don't want to do it, but we've had a lot of success. And when you continue doing the competitions and stepping outside of your comfort zone, there's something that happens that you just transition. And my mom used to tell me, it's like, once you turn 40, you really don't care. You just do your thing and it's going to happen. So as you start hitting more feedback, just know that it's going to happen. You just stick with what you know and your coaching, and make sure that you're following that, because that helps to, you know, and the more you keep doing it, the more relaxed you are and comfortable in yourself. So,
well, I've got some great coaching here. Kelly's been wonderful. This group has been wonderful, and I have confidence that it will improve.
Awesome. Some great feedback. Great feedback. Anybody else? Okay, Kelly, and then Peter, we're coming to you. Don't get too comfortable. Kelly, are you able to unmute and share a few pointers? Yeah.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Yes, I don't want to kind of repeat what's been said, but I want to echo what Liz said and what Drew said, in that, you know, her presentation was amazing. And what it does is show you how well someone that's energetic about their content and about their confidence in themselves, how it's projected out, and it gets others excited about what they do. I think the overall goal was to get you to understand that, not that all of you should duplicate what she's doing, how she did it, but like she said, someone said a little bit earlier, try to make sure you present your content based on the target market and in the way that's comfortable for you. And I think if you guys can walk away with that from that presentation, I think that we met the goal.
Definitely. What about things, and this is not per se pointing the finger directly at Precious or whatever, but Peter, can you address maybe our need to make sure you look at your environment, what's around you, your lighting and this and that, how you project and those types of things? Could you maybe address that for us?
Yeah, I mean, if it's video, obviously it's different than in real life. In real
Yeah.
life, get there early, walk the room, get a feel where your computer is, where the screen will be. Because you don't want to be standing in front of the screen or in front of the projector. So walk back and forth, know where the power cords are. If there are any, make sure they've been taped down. You don't want to, seriously, I'm very serious about these things. So that you know things are and you're comfortable when you're speaking. The online is a different scenario. You don't need to get crazy about it. Natural lighting, interior lighting can work just fine. There are several different products out there as far as inexpensive lighting you can use. Very popular. It's called the ring light. I think it's $50. I'm not sure anymore. But it sits atop your monitor. Well, depending what depends what you use. If you have external monitors or on top of your laptop. The thing to work out if you're doing virtual is to remember to try to look at the camera. And so if you have notes or whatever, you want to be able to clip them to your monitor, or I mean, there are things you can buy, but you can spend a lot of money buying stuff. So clip it to your monitor. You should be comfortable with your talk and work off the slides. The slides are your notes. They're your cue cards. So you should be comfortable. You don't want to be reading a speech. It'll sound that way. But again, it's the message. Lead with your headline. My name is Joe Schmo. I'm with X Systems. We help consumers solve a problem. We help babies who very often, it's very common for babies to have difficulty. I'm screwing this up, I know, Drew, but let's go with me. With babies who have difficulty feeding, it's actually an overlooked situation, because commercial products do what they do, but they can't really do as well as we could do. My company and our product solves this problem. We have worked with pediatricians, we've worked with NICU nurses, and we've tried this out, and we're seeing improvements in how babies do. So our product is better than what is on the market because it's much more targeted. It does a smaller segment of a niche in the market, a niche in the need of all the babies, of 12 million babies born every year in the United States alone, and 20% of those babies would benefit from this system. And then you go from there. You want to lead with a headline to get people's attention, enough that they'll listen to the rest of it. So lead with the headline, much the same way as the newspaper. Include, as I think has been mentioned by several folks along these number of years, if you've accomplished anything, we've sold X number of dollars of revenue in the past year and X number of units. And this is what we're planning to expand. This is what we need. And this is what we're going to use the money for. Now, if I can just use one example, my nephew, 12 years ago, was on Shark Tank. And now, understand, Shark Tank is entertainment. And it's filmed that way and it's presented that way. But as part of this presentation, they were talking about the product, they're talking about how well they're doing, how much sales, and they said, such as, I think it was HVC, one of the home shopping networks, approached us at a trade show. And drama, everybody sits up. They approached you. Because now you're been blessed that somebody else who's a big name approached them. Doesn't matter whether the sale occurred or not. The fact that they got someone's interest. So lead with your main point. This is who I am. This is the company. This is our product. This is the problem it solves. And this is why we're better. It's better at a difference than anyone else. Now you got it. That's the 15 seconds. Then you go from there. Okay. You don't get to get crazy about the background. Make the backgrounds look reasonable. Mine, I get different reactions about it. But for my purposes, it's fine. You can, I think, Liz, you've got it on the Zoom on
Blur.
out of focus. What's it called? Blur. Thank you. That's probably the best background if you're going to use anything but something special on Zoom, because Zoom, if you try to do all the things they offer, if you've watched people move
Mhm.
around and you come in and out, it's pretty damn good, but it's not the best. Drew has a nice presentation, things like that. So depending upon where you are, it depends upon, be aware of where your camera is located. And there was one other point. That's basically it. Lead with your headline, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then your last 1 or 2 sentence, tie it in a bow. This is a company, this is my name, this is my company, this is the product we do, and we're looking for $250,000 to expand the company, enhance production, and grow the company, period. Thank you very much. And the very last point, and then I'll be quiet. You don't ask, who has the question? Are there any questions? And then you're rushing off. No. Somebody taught me this years ago. Ask, who has the first question? And then count to 10. And I mean 10. Because I just had this with a class last night. At 8 seconds in, somebody asked the first question. Who has the next question? 10 seconds in. Third one, who has the next question? 6 seconds in. And there's 1 or 2 more like that. But I'm telling you, it makes a difference. Count the 10 seconds. Then you can say, thank you very much. My cards are here. Look forward to speaking with you afterwards.
Awesome. And William is saying that is so true. I guess he's referencing the break. Yeah. Yeah.
Shark
Very
Tank.
good.
Shark Tank is definitely entertainment. It's like
Oh,
undercover
yeah,
boss.
yeah,
Yes, they
yeah.
are. But
Yeah.
that said, there's still lessons to be learned from it.
Right. Okay, so those are all great points, and I appreciate all of you, the mentors and the coaches, chiming in. I'm going to throw one in there that we didn't hear about, especially from the perspective of our doing it through Zoom or using technology. You got to be familiar with your technology. You have to be comfortable with your technology. You have to be able to pull that pitch deck up. You have to be able to show your slides. That is imperative in this, particular time that we're in, because so much of this work is being done virtually. And so to get familiar with your technology and be comfortable with that, be able to maneuver quickly and comfortably, I think would be one of the number one suggestions for where we are right now in your opportunities to give pitches. So does anybody else, anything else? William, did you do an actual pitch for any of you? You got your 250,000. Was that via a pitch? Did you do that pitch, or did someone else on your team actually do the pitch? I see you're off mute, William, but we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I close all the pitches. I don't start them. I let my partners do that. But yeah, I close all the pitches. When we was raising the 250K, it's by a NBA basketball player, NBA player by the name of Mo Harkless. He plays for the Sacramento Kings. And he's a friend of our CEO, but he also has 20 businesses in his portfolio. So we still had to pitch him, as well as our partners at Scholarly, to even do the joint venture to get into China. So we practice pitching the majority of the day,
Mm.
day in, day out. I pitched the most out of everybody, so because I've been doing it for a good minute at 1 million cups since 1 million cups started, and my mom been taking me to pitches and stuff like that. So I usually close it out because I'm better at getting speeding the numbers and telling the story. But yeah, we pitched it every time, and we practiced at least 2 weeks before we even did the actual pitch. 2 weeks straight, and I don't let off. I'm pretty hard nosed about it because it can make or break us, and it's really good practice for when we go into those bigger negotiations. Actually, the big example is for our partnership with the company Scholarly Me, who got us into China, they were not even going to give us do the joint venture with us until we could actually prove ourselves. So we had to go, unbeknownst to us, we actually just got tired of it. We thought they were like BSing us. So we actually went to go get our own money to fund ourselves to pay for the website because it was originally our idea anyway. So we just filed everything. We got our own lawyers, everything. And then they came back and said, oh, okay, y'all are for real. And then they said, okay, it's time to do the operating agreement. But we actually had to end up restructuring and doing a whole bunch of stuff with the lawyers, but everything is under our company. We actually switched it to a holdings company, and we put the joint venture under us, and the ball's in our court. We're supposed to be going to China and in Kenya next year to meet with the president of Kenya and the CECC in China to talk with them. So we were told that negotiating with the Chinese is interesting. So we're preparing ourselves for that battle in the next few months. So, but yes, to answer that question in short, yeah, we had to pitch a lot. And we actually almost fired our COO because he screwed up really bad in a meeting, and we were like, you got one more time and you're out. So, and he still only has one more time. It's just, I told him now we are providing finances for other people's families, and you will not mess that up. And I'm not going to take food out of my family mouth, and you're not going to take food out of my family mouth. You'll get fired before that happens. So yeah, we had a.
All right, so you got into being a boss very rapidly, very quickly there.
Oh yeah, we had some tough conversations real quick. Real
Awesome.
quick.
Well,
It was-
thanks for, yes, Liz.
Just real quick, I want to share something about appearance that Peter, we had a little conversation before we got started, and I ran, right, Miss Dorothea, and I ran over and said, I need to go put on some lipstick. And how we come across, and especially for women, it's just the nature of the beast that we have, making sure that we have an appearance and actually have some color to our face. We look drawn, and it doesn't mean that men aren't. So on Zoom, they have this special feature. I don't know if any of you ever play around with it. On the icon that says your video, they have a filter that allows you to put a little, if you forget to put some on, that it will help put some eyebrows. If your beard doesn't look clean shaven or whatever, it gives you a clean shaven beard and a shadow. You should play around with this. Interesting. So some days when I don't have it, I use the filter to kind of give my definition for my eyebrows. It makes a difference because my coworkers and colleagues, we have to record a lot for teaching. And I hadn't had a chance to do what I usually do. And someone said, what's wrong with you? Are you sick? I'm like, no, I just didn't put on concealer and makeup, but it makes such a difference. So it has to be very important if they include it as a filter. So I want to make sure that you know that they have it for men and women. They have features to help give you a little lift.
Very good.
Okay, just had to
Also, all these tips are great, and we never know when we might be in a position to have to use them. So that's great information, Liz. Thank you guys for that. And thank you, Kelly and Peter, for chiming in on that. We're gonna, if there are no other questions or comments, we're gonna switch over real quickly for a brief presentation where we're gonna be talking about our entrepreneurial mindset. Everybody on here is an entrepreneur, and having the right attitude or the right mindset about engaging in your business, and the attitude that it even takes to have or to be an entrepreneur is what we're going to talk about just a little bit. So I have a short PowerPoint. I'm going to go through it very quickly. So hopefully we'll have a few minutes for discussion. And so just give me a minute here. Let me get it pulled up, and we will head right into that presentation. So let's see. All right. So This is from actually a training that Increasing Hope, we wrote several years ago. Her institute is an acronym for Hope, Empowerment, and Restoration for Individuals. But one of the first classes that we teach, or one of the first lessons in this material that I felt was very, very important, was for us to have an understanding of who we were as individuals and understand the importance of actual personal development as an entrepreneur, or growing ourselves and investing in ourselves as an entrepreneur. And so the attitude and the mindset, I felt like, and we feel like, were very, very important to producing a good entrepreneur. And so why do we have to have a good mindset? It's because it's the very thing that will carry us, your whole attitude, the ability to have fortitude as you go through maybe your rejections and your turn downs. So one of the things we have to look out for is sometimes we have a faulty mindset from the idea of our thoughts. First thing we think is it's going to give us complete freedom. We're going to have all of this time. And I think most of you are into this enough to know that is absolutely not the truth. Of course, you're going to work on this more than you've worked on anything in your life. And then another faulty thought is, if I am good, I'm good at this, I'm good at what I'm producing, I'm good at this product, I'm good at delivering this or that you will automatically succeed. And that, once again, is a faulty thought from the understanding that there are many things that go into your business, not just knowing your craft, but knowing how to be a business owner, knowing how to manage your finances, knowing how to be that leader or turning into an HR person. All of these things go into making you and causing you and allowing you to be successful. And a good example of that, all of our restaurant owners. We know that restaurants they fail at the highest rate. It's not because those people can't cook. It's not because they're not good at their craft. A lot of times it's good because many other things, but it could be maybe they fail to know how to do proper pricing or proper marketing, or didn't have a good sales team, whatever the case may be. So if you're good, sometimes can be just a faulty attitude or thought process. I will make more money working for myself. Once again, a little bit, faulty from the standpoint that we all have to start somewhere. Most of the time we start with not necessarily even other people's money like you guys are looking for. But as you heard William say, sometimes you have to put your own money on the table first. And it takes time for revenues to return and for increase to come. And for a lot of years, my husband used to jokingly say to me, even as a nonprofit, and we are a business, but just happen to be nonprofit, that I was a nonprofit, we would jokingly say. Why? Because it took time for this nonprofit to turn a profit, to see revenue, even though our revenue is invested right back into our organization. So it takes time for that. And the last one is, I do not need training. I will learn as I go. What a faulty attitude. I think all of you, you are here because you realize that you do need training, that you do need additional information. And I will just encourage you to always, as a part of personal development, to have a teachable spirit, to be in a position to always be open to learning and hearing from others and receiving feedback from others. That mindset and that attitude would get you further than anything else. So you have to have a mental fortitude to be an entrepreneur and to be a successful one. And so your mindset will help you identify thoughts and attitudes that are not good for you to a certain extent. And so the goal of the entrepreneur is to energetically, efficiently, and consistently offer up your services and your products to the marketplace that will meet their desires in a way that they can afford it. And so the reality of being an entrepreneur is that it's not necessarily all about you. One thing you have to realize is that you have created your products, your services, and what you have to offer to place you in a position to be able to serve other people and solve other people's problem. That's really the reality of entrepreneurship. And secondly, that you have to earn in order to be able to be a giver, to give back to your community. And so making sure that you position your business or your company and have the infrastructure that's needed for you to earn. Again, using that restaurant owner, if they haven't priced the food correctly or their dishes and their menu correctly, then they're not actually able to earn income. So it's going to be very important for you to price your products and services accordingly. And then the reality again is, again, you need to be open and teachable. And this one, again, the most importantly, guys, don't ever, ever, ever be afraid to say, I need help with something. Failing to reach out and to say that sometimes is the reason, the very reason for failure is when we decide that we do not need help from anyone else. And so before you take the necessary steps to begin to build your business, it's imperative that we also take the steps to have these successful mindset from the standpoint of, you know, I have to be teachable. I have to be open. I'm here to solve a problem and to be energetic. And so we're going to talk a little bit about your power thought life. Again, what you're thinking, whatever you think will chart the course of your actual reality. And so good thoughts and actions can never produce bad results. And that's a quote from As a Man Thinketh. And so as you are going through, I love Drew's reaction to her experience in that this is something that I can learn from. It was a good experience. It's a good action. Those good thoughts can never produce bad results. And so being able to take the journey that she went through and learn from it and grow from it, and then put to work what she's learned in the next opportunity is the most fantastic attitude that I think that that she could have. And okay, when you are thinking or about moving forward, we have to be intentional about having these power thoughts or attitudes. And some people call them, you know, affirmations and this, that, and the other. My thought process is one of mine is just there's always hope. For me, that's a power thought. Okay, thinking and remembering and reminding myself and people around me that there's always hope is something that gets me through maybe a rejection or gets me through that grant that didn't get funded or whatever the case may be, or that the next opportunity is right around the corner. I mean, that's the way I approach life is that, okay, so where's the next corner? I'm coming, okay? It's got to be something good around it. So those are the types of thoughts that you need to have. Identify our bad thoughts, okay? Identify when we are actually being what I want to say, a detriment to ourselves by the way that we think, okay? The negative attitude, the negative behavior. You know, nobody wants to give me, no, I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to identify those thoughts and then put a stop to them in reference to being able to move forward and then proactively change. Just don't identify the thought, but then do what it is or what it's going to take for you to actually change the attitude that you have that might be actually detrimental to your process and your progress as an entrepreneur. So next, decision-making. Oh my goodness. And I bet you William can give us some thoughts on this, and then Drew, all of you actually, because decision-making, again, as an entrepreneur, you have to be effective at making a decision. It's a skill that successful entrepreneurs master. Your ability to gather this information, process it, and decide on a definite plan of action, and the ability to do it quickly will greatly affect your level of success as you achieve in your business. And so you have to be willing to make decisions. You have to sometimes be quick and on the spot as you make decisions and as you grow, even again, as we talk about personal development, just the ability to take in information, analyze that information, and then make a decision on that information. And then to be confident with that decision that you make, even if it ends up being a wrong one, you realize that, you know, I took the needed steps. I did analysis, maybe I researched, I thought about it, I got the input of other individuals, and then I made a decision, okay? And so we have to be able to do that. And again, as personal development, I had an incident where someone was asking me my opinion just the other day or whatever, or something, and I'm just, you know, from the standpoint, I was like, you need to make a decision, okay? What do I want you to do? I want you to make a decision. And so that's very, very important in our growth as individuals, and especially as an entrepreneur. So again, Napoleon Hill says, men who succeed, they reach decisions promptly and they change them, if at all, very slowly. Men who fail, they reach decisions, if at all, very slowly and change them frequently and quickly. Guys, you cannot be wishy-washy. You cannot, not between, oh, I think I should do this, or I think I should do that, or I think this, or I think that, or changing back and forth. One minute you want to do this, then the next minute you're changing it back to that. That is not profitable for you as an entrepreneur. And so you need to be able to make decisions about things. You need to be able to stay focused. That's another huge one, a huge word there. Make sure that you stay focused as well. Okay. And then next here, banish the business killers. Okay. Banish the business killers. Again, from the standpoint of the mindset that you have, these are behaviors that can truly undermine all of your education, all of your positive actions towards success. These are behaviors that will literally kill your business and we must steer clear of them if you're going to be successful. For number one, guys, is the big one, and I can identify this in a person very quickly. Fear. That is a business killer, okay? You have to be able to operate proactively. You know, there's a saying out there, what do you do it now? You do it scared. I don't care if you are scared, you do it scared. And you also, fear is one of those things that's invisible, and you have to be able to burst through the invisible wall of fear. It will paralyze you and it will kill your business. The next one is doubt. Again, be able to make that decision. Don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt the decisions that you made and where you are in your business and as an entrepreneur. Again, your decision that you made might even be wrong at that particular time or whatever, but again, you stood up and you made that decision. So laziness and procrastination, okay? Entrepreneurs cannot get up at 12 noon, okay? Just because you're your own boss and this and that, you have to have a plan. You work that plan, you stay focused. And we've already said you're already gonna work more for yourself than anybody else, but we can't procrastinate. You can't know that you need to do something and it take you 2 months to do it. Okay, so that will kill your business. Your lack of focus will kill your business. This is one of the first bits of advice that I give individuals from the standpoint of being an entrepreneur is that you have to stay focused. And I use the example of like a laser beam or a light. We know that laser is just that. It is very focused, intense light. But when you begin to diffuse that laser and the light is going in all kinds of different directions, it loses its strength. Okay. So I tell people, one of the reasons I've been successful at Increasing Hope is because since I started that business, it's been the only business that I've ever had. And I stayed focused. I refused to allow myself to get off track, to go in all kinds of different directions, to chase money. If you know that your business is what you should be doing, do not allow people to take you off focus, and don't allow yourself to get off focus either by chasing dollars, chasing ideas, working too many ideas at the same time. Find one, focus on it, cause it, and allow it to become profitable for you. And that will be one of the best things that you have ever done. You can't be complacent. Okay, you can't be just, here today, gone tomorrow. Oh, I'll work on it when I get a few minutes. I'll do this. You have to be, have a sense of urgency. Okay, have a sense of urgency about what you're trying to accomplish, what you're trying to do, why you're trying to do it. You can't just be complacent about it. And so that sense of urgency should always be at the top of your list. And that will also encourage you and show forth your passion for what you have to do. Financial mismanagement, that's a killer, okay? You can have all the talent, all the ability. If you manage the finances wrong or incorrectly, that could also endanger your business. Negativity, we're talking about mindset, and then the inability to proactively change when something is identified and when you become aware of something, you have to actually proactively change in order for you to get better results. And so those are business killers that we need to be aware of. And as we are dealing with our mindset, examine yourself and see if any of these are part of your thought process or a part of your mindset or a part of your attitude, or if you've been dealing with any of these in any way, and confront them and then continue to move forward. Then you have to have, once you do all of this, you have to have the reward of resolve. A successful entrepreneur is mentally strong, okay? Especially in the role with you guys. You're standing there, you're asking people for money, you turn down. And for me, it was, I'm turned down. You're writing all these grants and people are saying we this, that, and the other is going on. And it can be mentally, emotionally draining. And so you have to have a mental fortitude that is necessary to achieve success in business in spite of the challenges that come your way. So what makes you mentally strong is resolve, the unwavering determination to fulfill or accomplish a thing. In other words, I'm bringing this product to market. In other words, this medical application is going to happen. For me, it was, I know people need financial literacy and I'm going to reach the community. You have to have a resolve. You have to be determined, focused, almost like have your feet planted in cement, that this is what I'm going to do, because if not, any individual, any thought process, any rabbit trail, bunny trail, then you're gone. But without that resolve, that ability to stand strong, you could be taken off track. So you have, so be mindful of having a resolve, a determination, a tenacity. I like that word, tenacity. You have to be tenacious about what it is that you are desiring to do, what it is you want to bring to market. You have to have that sort of attitude about it. And so when you're dealing with challenging situations, having to make that decision and up against deadlines and different things, when you have these challenging situations and you're trying to deal with them, take deep breaths. This is a way of dealing with the pressure that sometimes we find ourselves under, the stress that we find ourselves under. You're feeling pressured about a decision, step away from the situation, and then reach out for help. Remember not to be afraid for asking for help and saying that you need help. You address the situation directly, okay? I have learned this, and it is the best way to deal with something. No sense prolonging it, okay? William, if you have that situation again with that staff member, you address it directly and you deal with it. And then you let it go. You move forward. You made your decision and you face that challenging situation and you move on, okay? So I think I'm going to end my presentation right here. It actually now would go into another presentation. So I'm going to end right there. I could do this. I love this part of teaching and instructing and empowering and pouring into people. But from the standpoint of the mindset that we need to have, the attitude that you need to have, is there any feedback on what was shared tonight for any of you?
I had just a little bit of what happens when I had this come up this week, and it's coming up actually tomorrow, where I'm writing a grant. I've been going through this Innovisions project. I reached out to you about something, and I have too many projects going on at one time that are all urgent. There is a sense of urgency, but I'm running out of time to get them all my deadlines met at the same time and work full time and all of that. What do you do when you find that you've backed yourself into a corner and you need to let something go in order to accomplish the most prioritized mission? Like, I'm having some difficulty with that because we have so many things cooking right now and so much momentum going right now that you don't know how to. I can make a decision. That's not necessarily the problem. It is more, and it's not time management. It's that there's not enough time in the day to manage all of the things that are happening right now. And I've never been in this position before where we've had as much momentum going on all at once.
Yeah. Momentum is that two-edged sword, right? It's good and it's bad. And so believe you me, I know that. I'm right in the middle of that. But Drew, I think you answered your own question. And again, our coaches can chime in. I think you answered your own question from the standpoint of you prioritize.
Yeah.
You definitely prioritize. What is the one or two or three things that absolutely have to get done, and then the other ones could wait and it wouldn't maybe be a detriment to your project or something like that. So prioritizing it will help you be able to not feel that weight so much, that if you get 1 and 2 done, you'll feel a lot better about yourself rather than leaving it all clumped together and stuff. So, I mean, I think you answered it yourself. You have to prioritize those things. Liz or Kelly or Peter?
I will say, Drew, I am just still learning this lesson. It's so hard when you have a giving heart and you have things to say no. So I had a coach that told me that I was a people pleaser and I didn't know how to take it. It was just like she was a real prim, proper woman, Southern. And I felt like she took her white gloves off and just me. And I'm like, oh, are you serious? I'm like, and she said, you've got to say no. And you've got to stand by that, and the world is not going to fall apart. And I had to step back from some things that really would put me in a great leadership position, but it took me off the track of reaching my goals. So, and I'm telling you the truth, because Ms. Dorothy has known me for a lot of years. I have a hard time saying no, because I'm like, okay, I really want to do this. And I tell you what, I can sleep now at night. I'm getting up at 5:30 in the morning. I've changed things around. I'm doing things at different times. And even on my voicemail message on my cell phone, people have copied it. I have a message that says, if you're calling me between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m., that's my study time, I will call you back tomorrow.
Set
And
boundaries.
I set those boundaries, and people were just like that. So sometimes it's the things that the pressure we feel is that we've done it to ourselves. And we're like, okay, I have to do this, I have to do that. So, and I totally echo Ms. Dorothea's words. Sometimes the things that you're trying to do, you should focus on what you're really great at and get someone to help. It took me a long time to accept that I need to get someone in to come and clean my house, because my mother was a maid, right? I grew up with the mother's a maid, and she's like, you better clean up and do this. I'm like, I don't know what it is, but that is not the best use of my time. And my friend's like, you have a maid? I said, yes, because I don't like dirt. And then I found out I'm allergic to mold and dust. I had to clean it. And my priorities and my time, I couldn't do it. So setting those boundaries and saying no and finding a way to say no that basically says, you know, if it's other people that are asking you to do things, it's like, which of these things do you need for me to get done, because I can't do them all. And being comfortable saying that, because guess what, if it's family, if it's all these other people, getting people in your life to step up and help you, because sometimes we do it a lot. We take on so much and we don't ask the people around us to help us. And fend for yourself. I told my daughter, like, peanut butter and jelly sandwich is not going to hurt your baby. Let him stop feeling like you have to do this all the time. But anyway, I said, Kelly has some other pieces on there, but that's just mine.
I'm in total agreement with what you're saying, Liz. One thing I want to stress with Drew and with everyone else is that, you know, it's great to strive to do better and try to move the needle, but at some point you have to stop editing and complete and move on to something else. If you're continuously editing and revising the same content over and over and over, something's wrong. And but granted, and I understand you may need different versions based on who you're talking to, but your overall big picture message, you should have locked that down, you know, by now. And so I would strive to, like Liz said, you know, learn to say no, learn to focus, learn to set priorities, determine what those priorities, and if something doesn't fit in that priority, then you need to say no. And take care of the things that need to be taken care of. And if you get time to go back, great. But if not, keep it moving. Keep it moving.
And who has another question? Any other questions, comments? All right.
Yeah, I just wanted to second the saying no. We've been our partners basically told us to after we got our final letter with the China deal, they was like, all right, hang up the phones, don't answer them. People gonna call you now, don't pick up the phone. And they were basically telling us, like, you think people can just get on the phone and talk to us? It's like, no, we got work to do. If it's important enough, we'll talk to them eventually, but as of right now, we got a product to push out. So but yeah, just to piggyback on saying no, that's pretty much been our motto for this whole month.
Okay. All right. And again, we mentioned it briefly, just I think setting the boundaries. I think another thing as an entrepreneur, of course, when we all start out, it's just us. But I think you also have to realize and recognize when it's time to begin to build your team. And we talked about that just a little bit from the standpoint of, your financial person and, all the things on the business side. But sometimes your team member might be that person that cleans your house. Your team member might be the person that babysits your kids. Your team member might be all these other things, again, that free up time for you to be able to do what you do. Okay. So I'm like Liz, that thing, I don't have a problem. I don't care how much it costs. Just come in and help me with my house. Okay. Because I don't have time. I work. I mean, I do whatever. This is my focus. That is not a priority from the standpoint of I need to be doing it myself, or I have to do it myself. There will be some things that we need to learn to take off our plates in order to free up time to nurture our business babies. So, yeah. Any other comments? Girl, you got that right, Ms. Kelly. You got that right. You can't be an expert in everything. Allow others to bring value to your project. And I definitely agree with that. You can't do everything. Figure out, again, I think Liz said, what is it that you do well? You do that. I know for a fact, I know this about me, and I'm in this process now of the two-edged sword of growing it. I'm the visionary. I'm the big picture. I'm out front. All this little dilly-dally stuff, like dealing with my payroll and processing right now, is driving me crazy. I'm not the one, as they say, not the one, okay? But to a certain extent, you have to do it. But I also know when I need to bring on others. And so that's why I need about 6 people on my team right now. So realize, know what your strength is, know what it is that you bring to the table. Surround yourself with the other people that can help you then do everything else that needs to be done. And that, again, whether it be from the standpoint of bringing on a partner, I think the coaches and I talked about that a little bit. Is it time to bring on a partner or someone that does have a strength in an area that would help move your business forward that you do not have? Those are all things to bring to consider and everything. So, and the list says the enemy of perfection is to allow good enough to be enough. Is that correct, Liz? Yeah. Exactly. And also, I'm definitely a proponent of doing things in excellence, but excellence does not mean perfection. Okay. That was a tough one for me. Okay. That was a tough one for me. Excellence does not mean perfection, but it does mean that you do everything you do in such a way as to value the people that you're trying to bring that service to, that product to, that you present to them in an excellent way. And all of that, it kind of circles back to the way that you present, the way that you do your pitch, what your surroundings look like, what you yourself look like. If your goal is excellence, all of those things, we would do our best to address all of those areas and everything. So the last thing any comments or questions or feedback of what we heard tonight? Hopefully it was helpful to you. All right. So if there's no questions or comments, I want to talk a little bit about one thing we brought up in reference to being teachable. Making sure that we're teachable and that you stay open-minded. Is there anybody that thinks that you might struggle with that a little bit, or what the role of our coaches might be and how that they can maybe help us in those areas, and from the standpoint of how do we position ourselves to be able to take on information to help ourselves out and keeping the right attitude about that? Any feedback on that? Might I have the coaches chime in first then, if you guys, Drew, you had something?
I just have one thing to say about that, because it's a little bit relating to my last part of my feedback, is that you have to be careful in how many opinions you receive at the same time, because they will differ and they will conflict. And you have to make very good judgment on the advice and the information that you take in, because when I first started this a while ago, I was taking all of the advice of somebody who did not know I don't even know how to say this in a great way, but just did not know anything but to order me on what to do. And in my inner heart, I knew that the path that person was leading me down was not the right, but I couldn't make a decision to say, no, this is not the great fit for my company. This is not. So I wasted almost a year going down that path. And then I got a lot of other conflicting opinions that actually led me down a whole different road of marketing, of different avenues that had so much more potential. And it was actually that person's advice that led me to my first big no in financials. And had I listened to my heart and had I done what I knew was best and looked in other directions in order to find the true advice that I needed and not been kind of the lamb, but the shepherd, it would have led me in a much better direction, much more it would expedite a lot of things for me and open a lot of more doors.
Yeah.
So I think judgment in who you're listening to is just vital. I've learned the hard way on that one.
Very much so. Very much so.
Yeah, I had one thing to say about that. I don't even know if there's a good way to say this. Well, okay, so my experience, I really don't listen to anybody that has not even a little bit went in the direction that I went in. And it's not because of that I, think highly of myself or I know how to make a decision or whatnot, but it's more of, okay, how far off the path is this person going to take me when they speak to me? And is what they're saying true? And those are the two questions that I ask myself. If they're going to take me too far off the path where outside of like a general business knowledge, right? And they're trying to get specific to an industry that people in the industry don't know about. I just take it as their opinion, or I really just don't listen to them. I just tell them to be quiet. Because because certain things are timely, and being able to come to a decision as an entrepreneur, you don't need misinformation in your mind at all, because it could cloud your judgment. And when you make a decision, it may not be your decision and you don't even know it. It may be information that you heard from somebody that didn't have a clue. But you made the decision based on their information anyway. So the last few years I've been severely careful about who I talk to, even in my own family. Majority of my family I don't talk to. It's just for that reason. Or I barely talk to them at all. I'll talk to them at family functions, but outside of that, because I don't want that misinformation or making a decision based on somebody else's thought process to come out when I actually have to make a quick decision. Because normally when you have to make a quick decision, it's what you know and almost an instinctual. So you don't want to have that build up in your psyche. And yeah, that happened to me like once, and I was like, yeah, never again. And it wasn't even with business, it was playing football. And like ever since then, that it was over. It was over with.
Yeah. And I think Kelly put a definition, that discernment, and I use that word a lot, and I depend on that a lot, which is the ability to make that wise decision in difficult situations. The power of discernment is what you want to strive for. It most definitely is. And what Drew described, the way I described what Drew just said in reference to other people coming in telling you or saying this and saying that, I say it like this: do not allow someone to hijack your business. Okay, do not allow them to come in and the lane that you're going down, or the culture that you've created in your business or whatever. You really have to be careful with that. And then you have to get sort of like William and get protective of that to a certain extent. You really just have to get protective of it, or before you know it, again, you've been hijacked and you're going in a direction that you did not foresee or did not desire to go down. And so it's very, very crucial that using that discernment and learning how to not only just, having that discernment, but then listening to it. Because how many times have we heard it, but you didn't listen? Okay. But being sensitive enough to it to actually trust it, I think is another level, to literally trust that thing that you're getting. So I think that's great. Ms. Liz.
This touches on a real sensitive point for me. 2 areas: having a plan and goals, and doing the research and knowing this for yourself. A lot of people get trapped because they're wandering around. You don't have a plan or a goal, or you hire someone, because sometimes people want shortcuts. So it's like, I'm going to hire someone. I need someone to write this, do that. And I worked with a director who I had to write a grant, and she never read it. And we lost the whole center because she never understood what was part of the work that she had to do, and that it was written, because she didn't have time. So you have to take ownership for it. Because some people say, I'm not a great writer, I don't know what to do. That's great. That's when you get help. But you definitely need to be involved, and you need to read and study it. People want these shortcuts. I deal with these college students every day who want shortcuts. They just want you to come in, tell me everything I need to know, and I'll be done. Well, I focused on what was important for me in college. Now you want the condensed version of everything. And, they fact checked us every day. So if I say anything in the classroom now, it's like they go on the internet. It's like, it says this. I'm saying, what's the source? One of my infamous stories in this class right now, students were referencing, it didn't happen at my university, but it's in university circles, referencing a source. And they came to find out what the original source was some student's 8th grade paper. These college students citing this 8th grade paper from someone is like as an authentic source. I'm like, what? This is what you mean. And you need to go in and know it for yourself. It is a lot. And I'm not going to say I'm a serial entrepreneur. It is a lot. And you go in and take the time to learn it, but you cannot be knowing it yourself. So when someone comes to you and they BS you, it's BS because you know it. And everything that someone comes to you and coaches you about and says anything to it, it aligns with the plans and the goals that you have. That's when you know that it's the right information that you're getting. Or someone who they're transparent and they don't mind. They're like, listen, I don't know all the answers, but let's go find it together. That's a person you want to be with, because none of us know 100% of anything. None of us do. So.
Very good. Thank you, Liz, for sharing that. Okay, any other feedback, questions, comments? We're not going to prolong it. If we don't have anything else to say, we're going to end it. But hopefully, talking about your mindset, the attitude, yourself as your personal development as an entrepreneur, that's very, very important. Always work on that. That's very high on my agenda from the standpoint of me needing to be the person or the individual that I should be as an entrepreneur. So you never stop working that particular area of your life. So, and being willing, yes, I see Kelly, being willing to be teachable, have coaches, listen to your coaches, and understand that, again, they do and have a level of experience and expertise, and they are looking out for our best interests. And so, Miss Kelly.
Yeah, I just wanted to briefly mention that at some point, if Ms. Pranitha hadn't done it yet, we're going to forward you guys a cheat sheet of things to keep in mind for almost everything as it relates to being an entrepreneur. Things to do, things to not do, helpful hints, and that kind of thing. So be on the lookout for that. It may come in different forms, but that's something that we're working on for you.
Definitely. Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate that. All right. Well, at this time, we want to thank each of you for being on the call tonight. Our next one, what is that? November. We'll send out the date. I don't have the calendar right in front of me. I'm sending out grants, just so you notice, keep an eye on your emails. I am sending out grant opportunities that are coming our way. And again, I'm sending it out to everyone. Some you will fit in, some you may not fit in. Take a look at them. My job or my goal is just to get them out to you. So those, I think some of you have been able to benefit from some of those, which is great. There are actually some dollars, and actually we've been in. Justin, did you have something you want to say?
December 8th.
December 8th? Yes, go ahead.
You were saying, you were asking when's the next
Oh,
meeting?
the date is December 8th. Okay, I guess
Yes.
that's far enough. We will not have shut down. Hopefully we will not have already shut down. I have a pending move on my plate, but we should be able to come together on that night. We wanted to do something extra special, thought we would be in our new building. Evie and I are still trying to brainstorm that from the idea of actually literally maybe trying to get together. But I know once again, we are in a forum where people are all over. Drew, aren't you in Greenville? Where are you? You're in Greenville. Justin, you're a little bit, your ways out as well, correct?
Just St. George.
Oh, well, St. George, that's not bad for us. And then I know Jerome and Jordan, they're in the Columbia area, I would presume. And so the whole idea.
No, we're in Greenville. We're in.
Oh, you're in Greenville. Okay.
Clemson in Greenville. Yep.
Okay. So the idea was to maybe see if we could get together and do maybe put together a pitch competition for you guys. So hopefully, yeah. So even if it's not face to face, that December 8th, because we're winding out the year, we're going to be sending you your pitch information. You guys have had the opportunities to practice. I will tell you, all of you, that 1 Million Cups is wide open. They only have one more for this year, which yours truly gets to close out on next week. Doing a pitch myself. It's ironic on how, we're training on the pitches and then all these pitches start coming at me. So the opportunity to do them. But we want you guys to be ready with your pitch decks. One last opportunity to show forth your excellence and expertise. And the class isn't over in January. We're just wanting to end the year with us doing maybe another practice session. So you'll hear more from me and Evie on that as we move forward. So does any of our coaches have anything you'd like to share as we close out?
I just want to say this is off topic, but for those veterans that are here, just thank you for your service. I don't know. I don't know if it's Happy Veterans Day is the thing to say, but I like saying thank you for your service because I don't know if it's a happy day or not. But that's it. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you. And Justin, thank you for your service. Yes. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Awesome. My hubby over here is a 22-year veteran, and I'm a veteran, didn't do 22 years, but I do say I did 22 years because I was married to him, so I did 22 years. So, so anyway, guys, we appreciate you. Thank you, coaches and counselors and everybody for being on the call. We appreciate your input. We are here to serve you. If you need anything, don't forget to connect with your coaches. They are here for you. Reach out to Peter. Peter is helping with the finances and finishing up any business plans that might need to be still worked on. If you have any questions in that way, Kelly and Liz are here coaching on the pitch decks and helping you come up and create a plan. And so we're all here to serve you guys. Let us help you. Please allow us to serve you in this way as we help you continue to grow your businesses. And guys, we got another grant out there for Relentless Challenge grant. Don't know when I'll hear, maybe January I'll hear back on that. So, but we hope to be able to continue this program. It's been an honor serving you. Everybody have a good night. Have a great Veterans Day, great weekend, and happy Thanksgiving since we won't see you again. So.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Have a great one.
Yeah, I know. Thanksgiving, right? It's hard to believe. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next month.
Good
Okay.
night.
All right. Bye-bye.